All right, we got our 2013 Dodge Dart here. It's been a year since changing the transmission fluid. Just did a drain fill on it. And we're going to go ahead and change it again today. And we're going to be doing it a little bit differently. First of all, I know how much I've got in it and how much is going to be drained out, etc. So we're going to go ahead. First thing, we got to get the front wheels on ramps, and then I need to lift the back up and to get this vehicle leveled out so we can get under it. Okay, now we're back at the back. I'm going to show you, I got a jack on the other side too. Now if you don't have two jacks, you'll have to do these one at a time, but we're going to get it right here. And another thing I like to do just for safety is have someone hold the brakes while I'm jacking this up. That way there's no movement, so we can get these ramps under here. So we'll just go from side to side. The reason that we're doing this is we want the vehicle to be level. Now you could use jack stands and just place it. The key is just to make sure that the vehicle is level. Now while I'm lifting this, I like to start sliding the ramp in. That way if something does happen, it's not going to fall as far. Alright, so there we have it on all four ramps. So we've got it all leveled out and we're ready to proceed. Okay, we'll go over the tools we need here real quick. Alright, so we've got a 24mm socket there, and this is just a 3/8. We're going to be using this end right here. So we've got us a jug of transmission fluid. You're going to want to get yourself one of these hand pumps. I've got a couple different ones here. And also we just got our drain pan. Now I've also got a special dipstick to check this with. I'm not really going to need it in the case of doing it this time, but I do need to find it, and so we can double check it and just show you this is going to work. Right, so we're over here at the transmission. We're going to hunt over here and find our drain plug. Position that there. Alright, so right here got our 24mm, and mine won't be horribly tight because I snugged it up the last time. Now this will come out of here really quick. You can see this, it doesn't look bad. Now, a lot of people will do a flush. This is just the way that I choose to do it. So it's been a year. This fluid still looks pretty good. It's not just horribly dirty. So the idea is when we do this drain fill, we're going to get even more of the dirty fluid out. And even the magnet here doesn't have much on it like last time, but you definitely want to take the time to clean that off. So let this drain a minute. Alright, we've had it dripping here I think we've got about enough of it out. Just clean that off really good. Give this a wipe off for good measure. We've got out about as much as we can. Now, the next thing that I want to do is I want to show you how much is in here. I know this is properly filled. Now, you could torque this to about 35 foot-pounds. I am not torquing, I'm just snugging it up. It doesn't have to be crazy tight. All right, so you can look where we're at there, and it's right at about 3.5 quarts. So you'll get about 3.2, 3.5 quarts. It might be just slightly more than 3.5 because I think I put just a little bit over the last time I filled it, but this is about all that you're going to get in it. All right, next thing we're going to do, go back under here with this tool. Now we got us another pan right here, and that is directly underneath this right here. So in case we have some drippage, which we will, we want to have a pan down here. Okay, now the way this plug works, we take our 3/8 and we pop it in there, and we're just going to turn it like a quarter of a turn here. It's got stops on it, so you can't turn it too far when you are tightening it, but you can see where those stops there, and once you turn it to that point, it just pulls right out. We'll clean this off as well. All right, so that is where we're going to fill it at. So we're going to get our pump and everything set up over here. All right, this is just a pump that I got from Harbor Freight. I'm going to try it out today. And it doesn't screw on there, but it doesn't matter. It's going to go down far enough we can get everything we need, but we're not going to need to use the whole jug. But we do have 4 quarts. So the idea is we're going to put as much as we can till it trickles out, and then we're going to have to crank the car and actually get it circulating before we can get any more in there. All right, I realized my other pump was going to be a little bit too tall with this jug to slide on there, so I switched to the other. All right, so we'll just go ahead and feed this in here. And we'll start getting some fluid in it. I think I may have to go back to my other pump. This one here is not wanting to cooperate. But you get the idea. So we got to make sure that we've got our pan positioned where we need it. And we'll be able to get a little bit in here. I'm not really sure how much, because you will have to get it cranked up to get the entire amount. So as soon as I see it trickling back is when I'm going to stop, and we'll go ahead and crank the car up. Now, if you had one of those powered pumps, this would be a lot better. You know, that's the only downside to this method is not fun pumping it in, because it does take a little bit of time to get it in there. However, it is easy as far as the method to do it this way. Okay, so I've got a little over 2.5 quarts. pumped in here, and you can see it's just now starting to drip, so then we need to get it cranked up to be able to get the rest of it in there. So what you'll notice when it's running, the dripping is going to stop because we've actually got it circulating. Now we want to go ahead and get this other cord in here, but at this point we're safe to crank it up. Now we're also going to have to run it through some gears. Now it'd be handy if the car was just slightly higher, and I don't want to lift it here because then the car's not going to be level anymore. But that's the biggest problem of all, is how low it is here. So I'm going to continue to get this last quart pumped in here, and we should see it to start trickling out. We start getting close to 3.5, 4 quarts, but you're not going to be able to get more than 4. All right, if you can see the jug here, we've got it down. We've got 3.5 quarts in it, so I'm going to stop there. Doesn't appear to be trickling at the moment. However, it is not warmed up either. But the other thing we want to do is we want to get this cap back on here before we kill the vehicle for sure, or your fluid's going to just come dumping right back out. Alright, so we're just going to clean this off. We'll take the time to wipe this back out. Got its own little seal in there. It's got a seal here, even though you probably can't see it. So we're just going to pop that right back in like that. Now, if you'll watch those little tabs as we rotate this, they're going to stop right there. So that's as far as it's going to go. It's sealed off. We can get our pan out of the way. And so we put back exactly what come out. So I'm going to check it to verify it. And as long as you do that, you should be exactly where you need to be. Okay, so this is the special tool. Let me get the chart. And what I'm about to show you now is verify that this is filled properly, and then you can avoid the hassle of what I'm about to do. Okay, so this is our chart, and this tells me where this needs to be. So once I get it up to 50 degrees, I'm going to be looking for 26 millimeters. You know, so somewhere right in there. And I got to get in there and get the plug out. But you know, as it heats up, of course, you know, your measurement's going to change. But this is the chart that you're going to go by. Okay, so we're in here with a scan tool. You see we got our temperature up to 113 right now. You can see with that glare. We're looking for 122 or 50 degrees Celsius. So that's what I'm waiting on. So you also want to come in here, hold the brake, and slowly run it through some gears. Put in each one for about 10 seconds or so. And then we'll put it back up in park. Just want to make sure that we do have that fluid circulated through there properly. So if I check this too soon, what's going to happen, I'm going to get a false reading, and then I'll wind up putting too much fluid in it. So we want to make absolutely sure that we get it up to 122 before we use our little dipstick tool. Alright, so I'm going to show you where I'm going back here to check this, and you'll notice I got long sleeve sweater on because we're going to be getting near that exhaust. Now I've got another video on this, goes more into detail, but you got a 24 millimeter plug right up here. It's just like that. has a little washer, and we go right up above this to check it. Kind of got my camera in the way, but it's right up there. You can feel it with your hands. You reach right up over this. That's where we're going to be placing the tool. Let me see if I can show you what I'm doing here. But I got my tool, and I'm reaching right up here, and I'm going to feel where it's at. And I just dropped it down in there. You can see it. See it right there. That's where it's at. Now I don't have it up to temperature, so it ain't gonna do me no good to check it at the moment. All right, so we got it up to 122 there. We'll go ahead and check it. Difficult to see under here. So I don't know if you can see this, but it's basically right at the 20. So we are still about 5-6 millimeters shy. So I'm thinking that the rest of that half quart should have went in there. The 3.5 just didn't quite get it. I don't know why. We don't have any leaks. But the temperature is correct. We got 3.5 in there right now, and it's still not quite where it needs to be, so we need to add a little bit more. Maybe just go about 1/4 of a quart and see where it's at. We don't want to get too carried away. So I've got another video on adding it through my funnel with a hose, and you can check that out. I'll leave a link to that. That's actually what I'm going to do right here to add this last little bit. All right, so what I did was added that, actually that half a quart that was left, and I mean this is like perfect, and we got it exactly at 122. So it gets really hard to read this thing, but if you get anywhere from 3.5 to 4 quarts in here, you're going to be perfectly fine. 4 quarts this time seemed to get it right where it needed to be though. So 4 quarts is perfect on this drain fill, and I'm not sure why I only got out about a little over 3.5, but because you can see there's no leaks here. So don't know where that half a quart went, but drain fill, you should be able to do 4 quarts and be perfect, because it's working out perfect on the gauge there. So I'm just going to put this plug back in here, so I just wanted to confirm that. But yeah, if you pump that up in at the front, you know, drain your fluid, 4 quarts back in there, and it should work out perfectly. So I'm just reaching back up here and snugging this up. So there you have it. If you drain this way and pump you a 4 quarts or gallon of fluid back into that front there, then you should have no issues. It should be right where you need it to be, because it's it worked out perfectly, the 4 quarts. And by this you can avoid having to remove the bolt from the back and do all that extra work. Now, if there's anyone out there listening that knows how to design a dipstick tube for these cars, I would encourage you to do so. For us Dart owners, that definitely could make life a lot easier. But anyways, the fluid was looking pretty clean this time. Said it's been a year since I done this last. I'm going to wait. Next year I'm going to do the same thing. You know, this car is probably getting 25 to 30,000 miles a year, so we'll change it out again in another year, and it should be looking pretty clean. So anyways, that's going to do it for the video. I just want to make a quick video on this to show with just some basic tools, a pump, and without having to remove a whole lot, you can change your transmission fluid on this car. You know, the only thing is you want to get the car level by some means and get it up off the ground where you can get under there. So anyways, I hope you found this helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. As always, I invite you to subscribe, and thank you for watching.